You'd agree with just about everything Andrew Bowie said, Paul Swift.
Well, apart from this idea that it's a sensible and pragmatic approach that the government are taking, this is a cobbled-together fudge that will not meet the test of reality in Parliament.
We'll move on to that in a moment, but what did you make of what Mike Russell was saying about what could happen in the eventuality of another referendum?
Well, it's intellectually conflicted because on one hand he's proposing an idea of bringing us out of both the European Union and the UK, which is the worst of all possible outcomes. It's not meeting his tests at all by actually delivering a stable and prosperous outcome for the people of Scotland. What it will do is deliver 10 times as much worse austerity.
But this idea of a referendum where if Scotland voted to stay and the rest of the UK voted to leave, that would give some sort of mandate for independence.
No, it's a travesty of democracy. That's what it is. Far from being democracy. I spent hundreds of hours going around the streets of Glasgow campaigning for remaining in the European Union. I wouldn't have my efforts and the people of Scotland's efforts to remain shanghaied like that by the SNP to drive forward their agenda on independence. That's totally unacceptable. It's utterly unacceptable. It's a travesty of democracy to try and use people who want to remain in the European Union and in the United Kingdom's votes as a proxy for independence. That's not acceptable.
I'm not sure what Labour's view is on this, other than to say we don't have a view, we'll wait and see what's in the white paper.
Well, let me tell you what our view is. Actually, it falls far short of what Labour's 6 tests have been, which have been consistent throughout this process. We believe in having a comprehensive customs union. This deal does not meet that test. It also proposes an utterly absurd idea of maximum facilitation, which basically means that the UK acts as the EU's customs official by checking goods and services, monitoring and crossing the borders, using technology that hasn't yet been invented. That implies infrastructure and it implies friction at the border of Northern Ireland.
There's also a line in the document, I don't know if you've noticed, which says that the UK would commit by treaty to EU rules and state aid.
Well, exactly. So it also means that we are essentially a rule taker, but have no role over shaping the regulatory framework in which we'll be part of. That's simply a sucker payoff. It doesn't actually give us any influence at all. It's the worst of all possible worlds.
All right.
And it's simply designed to manufacture a sort of truce within the cabinet. It won't meet the test of Parliament, and it won't meet the test of the European negotiators in the next round of negotiations. So I would say to Andrew, if he's got the courage of his convictions, part of his 12 MPs represent the Scottish Tory Party, bring this proposal to Parliament and let Labour bring its proposal to Parliament and let Parliament decide which proposal is better. A comprehensive customs union and this cobbled together fudge that's been manufactured at Chequers.